I've never seen such a girl. Just because the boy didn't like eating cake, she pressed his face down on the cake. When someone stole something from her, she would give them a beat with a stick. Chasing two big boys around was her daily routine. It was diagnosed by the doctor that she suffered from an intermittent explosive disorder. In other words, she couldn't be in the room with anyone. She could only be isolated until they found a cure for that disorder. Her strange disorder also attracted everyone's attention. She was faster and stronger than her peers. But because of isolation, she got angry more than usual. Her eyes were enraged. She could break free easily, becoming uncontrollable. The doctors wanted to do an experiment on her, but they underestimated her fighting skills. So they thought perhaps the special team could handle her. So they brought the team in. But they didn't expect that even the strongest man couldn't defeat her. If the instructor didn't stop the battle, the consequences were inevitable. However, the instructor's reprimand only made her angrier. But a psychiatrist saved her. The treatment method was very barbaric, but the effect was surprising. This was a switch. They could control her emotions through it. When the device started, the equipment all over her started to take effect. This is the latest action movie in 2021, an action comedy film starring Kate Beckinsale, Jolt. The plot is a little like Jason Statham's film, Crank. When Lindy grew up, her condition was still not getting any better. When she saw someone rude, she shot to shut him up. Lindy came to see her psychiatrist, Dr. Ivan. When Dr. Ivan saw her, his first reaction was to pull out the gun. It turned out that the shock switch was broken. While repairing it, Dr. Ivan didn't forget to tell her to put handcuffs on. Because she was really dangerous. Even if Dr. Ivan just knocked on the table, she couldn't stand it. Fortunately, Dr. Ivan repaired the switch in time. Otherwise, Lindy could have broken out of the handcuffs. Dr. Ivan thought what she needed was a close relationship. But she was always worried that she would beat her boyfriend to the bones. Who could ever want an aggressive woman to be his girlfriend? Lindy verbally rejected his offer, but her loneliness told otherwise. She went on a date. Look at her date's strong figure, she sat down. But on the inside she wondered, was he strong enough to handle her punch? But halfway through the date, she was out of control. She picked up a knife. But because she was on a date, she still pressed the switch, trying to suppress her disorder. But her date found out about her behavior. Lindy was a little embarrassed, excusing herself to go to the bathroom and calm down. Unfortunately, the waitress kept calling outside of the stall, laughing at what just happened. Lindy couldn't wait to rush out and beat her up. She kept pressing the control switch. Unfortunately, the switch was broken. Lindy was just about to leave the restaurant, but the waitress's last word completely angered Lindy. Her word was dirty. Lindy couldn't stand it anymore. She'll call you back. On the subway, remember to never squeeze this blonde. Because you had no idea how strong she was. Lindy suffered from a disorder that she couldn't control her emotions. In the bathroom, she heard the waitress gossiping about her. She kicked the door open with one foot and shut her up forever. In meditation, just because the man next to her touched her hand, she immediately interrupted the meditation. In the yoga class, she almost ruined the coach's life. Taking medicine, doing exercise, practicing taekwondo, boxing, shooting, these kinds of suppression were completely useless. Dr. Ivan told her to find a boyfriend. She directly said no, but her loneliness made her suffer. After a date, the two soon fell in love. But look at Lindy with a strange suit on. The man asked her what happened. After her explanation, the man accepted her condition and said he wouldn't mind. Taking along her favorite camera, Lindy felt better. She couldn't wait to tell the news to Dr. Ivan. But the moment Dr. Ivan saw her, he immediately looked for a gun. Lindy put on her makeup at night, waiting for her boyfriend to get off work. But she didn't expect that she received a call from the police station, telling her that her boyfriend's body was found in the trash. The gun holes on his body indicated that he was murdered. Lindy came to her boyfriend's grave. Just because of him, her condition had improved. But she had lost him. Lindy decided to take revenge. First, she went to the police officer in charge of the case. She called him, inviting him to her home. Before the officer left, she took the file of her boyfriend's case right away. She came to her boyfriend's house for the first time, taking the car key. She escaped Detective Nevins, who was trying to arrest her. Lindy found a hacker named Andy. From her boyfriend's phone, they found the last 7 calls. From downtown to an abandoned building, they found a business contact. After that, Lindy asked Andy, "How much should I pay you?" "Trust me, you can't afford it." Lindy left the car key, turned around and left. She came to Barry, her boyfriend's client. There was a boxing match going on here. Lindy edged in. She saw Barry sitting in the front row. She came forward, asking about her boyfriend's death. Barry called out 3 men. He wouldn't tell her until she won. Lindy jumped right into it, pretending to shake hands and knocked down one man in an instant. She turned around and punched the second one. The third man picked her up, but Lindy reversed the situation and knocked him down to the ground. Barry finally couldn't sit still. He ran to his car, not keeping his promise. When he opened the trunk, he was shocked. It was easy to find out who was behind him, but Lindy didn't intend to let him go at all. She came to his company. Before seeing the boss behind the scenes, Lindy was knocked out in the elevator. Lindy was a beautiful and funny woman, but she had a painful secret. Due to rare neurological disorders, she had a problem, rage-killing impulse. For treatment, she could only use a special device to distract herself. She couldn't find a boyfriend, but because of Dr. Ivan's suggestion, she finally found a good man and fell in love with him. But the next day, she learned that he was murdered. Lindy felt heartbroken and angry. She started revenge. She followed the clue on her boyfriend's phone, looking for the murderer. The clue led her to a businessman, but she didn't find the murderer yet. She was knocked down by a man in the elevator. When waking up, she had already been tied up to a chair. Barry stood in front of her. He let her meet his boss. His boss was Gareth. Eventually, he let her go. When Lindy came home, she found the door had been opened. She got inside by the window, but she found the door was connected with a bomb. After disarming the bomb, Lindy assembled a bigger bomb, turning on the stove and the microwave. Lindy created an explosion. While people were not paying attention, she quietly climbed up the building. When she got on the roof, she looked up. Barry was there.
I was hoping to see you.
She saw Gareth, but she was knocked out again. She woke up in the White Room again. The valves were opened. Her blood was evacuated. In the critical moment, Lindy ruthlessly broke free. She ended Barry with the chain. When she walked out of the door, some gangsters were waiting. The first one was a bald man. She ended him with a fire extinguisher. The gas in the fire extinguisher made a man fainted. After dodging the fire extinguisher the man gave her, she punched him in the face. She gave them the final attack. She opened the door with the gangster's finger, preparing to kill the boss. When she was about to kill the boss, she found that her boyfriend came back from the dead. The man who died was a tramp. Her experiments from childhood, Dr. Ivan who treated her were all controlled by the man in front of her. He just wanted to test Lindy's ability, making her get rid of her competitors.
You low-life piece of shit. I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Dr. Ivan also gave him a controller. The current flowing through Lindy's body kept her from moving. Under the electric shock, Lindy gradually adapted to the excitement. Her pupils refocused. After standing up and throwing the backpack to him, she ran into the elevator.
Eat shit.
Lindy returned to her damaged apartment, but she found a woman inside. Lindy suddenly remembered she was the woman who experimented with her as a child.
Humans are the most powerful, undetectable weapon.
The story was not over yet. All this was just a test. The film is expected to have a sequel. The movie Jolt is like Crank, but it doesn't matter because Kate Beckinsale starred in the movie, so it's worth seeing. That's all for today. I'll see you next time.